What's up, everybody? Thralls here once again. I'm Necrotic Nick, and I have an album review for you. So another one that came out on the 6th of May was the newest offering from hardcore legends Terror, Pain into Power. This comes out on Pure Noise Records. This is the band's 8th full-length overall. It formed in 2002 in LA. They've been one of my favorite hardcore bands for years. Became a fan right around One with the Underdogs and Always the Hard Way. It's just fucking straight to the point, brutal, in-your-face hardcore, and they are back with just that. In fact, this is 10 songs in 18 minutes, and this possibly might be one of their heaviest offerings yet, partially due to the fact that they reunited with former bandmate and Nails frontman Todd Jones for the production, and Jesus Christ, this is just fucking insanely heavy. While this album runs the length of exactly 2 Opeth songs, this is just a monstrous concoction of just pummeling riffs, attitude that is just palpable. Like, you can feel the hostility pouring out of the speakers. Somehow Scott Vogel sounds just as vicious as he did on the first album they ever put out. And for the record, I would never want to be the subject of a Terror song, because whoever fucking Scott's yelling at, that motherfucker hates. This is probably one of the most no bullshit, no filler fucking albums I think I've heard, especially since it's 18 minutes long. If you have filler in an 18-minute long album, you fucked up. Opens right away with the title track. It's not even a minute long, and it pretty much establishes everything that's going to happen in under a minute. You get a nice lead in, big fucking hardcore chugs into fucking like thrashy D beats, and then a monstrous breakdown to close, all while Scott is telling you how much you fucking suck as a human being. And if you love breakdowns, guess what? Every fucking song ends with one, and they're all heavier than the last one. Again, there's something about this album that it's just kind of heavier than Terror has been in a while. I think they just focused all their fucking rage into this album, and somehow it came out to be the heaviest album they've put out in years. But the third track, Boundless Contempt, I could feel my blood pressure starting to rise. Comes in with thrashy machine gun guitars, and it just rips your fucking face off. By the time you get to the Liar double feature, which is Outside the Lies and 1000 Lies, you get like a pulsating fucking vein in your head, and your neck hurts from headbanging so much. And both of those songs, while similar in subject matter, could not be more different. Outside the Lies, faster than hell, again, under a minute. Starts off with a blast beat before laying on the hardcore groove, and then 1000 Lies is a groove machine. This is the pit stomper rather than the pit spinner. Lots of thrashy palm muted chugs, which the guitar tone on here is so goddamn good. It is one of the crunchiest tones I think they have ever had. And on those groovier tracks, it really stands out. The Hardest Truth, which is one of the longer songs, and by longer, I mean there are only 3 tracks on here over the 2-minute mark, because fuck 3 minutes, we're not even gonna get there. We're just too fucking violent to get to fucking 3 minutes. We're already done beating the shit out of you by 2 minutes and 38 seconds. But that song lays on the groove. Big, giant, fucking hateful chorus. Of course, gang vocals, and I think Todd Jones jumps in on vocals for a little bit towards the end. Love the thrashy chugs. But when it comes down to the fucking flat-out heaviest track on here, and it might just be because of the presence of one George Corpse Grinder Fisher, who stuck his neck out for fucking Terror and donated his vocal cords to fucking Can't Help But Hate. Holy shit. This is almost a death grind song played by a hardcore band. You have blast sections, big grooves. They let fucking Corpse Grinder take over the D beat section, and him switching off with Scott Vogel is just a nasty vocal combination, just brimming with fucking hatred. God, that song just fucking whoops ass. And despite the short length of the songs, they squeeze in a fair amount of like cool buildup, like something to get you revved up. They don't want to always just detonate. Granted, they do just detonate pretty often. But the last track, Prepare for the Worst, has a really cool lead-in, like hardcore meets bolt thrower. Like, it just lays on this groove. There's a massive fucking riff. It feels epic. It's brooding, and then boom, it just explodes into what you've come to expect from Terror. Fucking fast-paced violence. If you're looking for like melodic breaks or any sort of extra atmosphere, you picked the wrong fucking band and the wrong fucking album. Hell, I would say you picked the most wrong album from the most wrong band in terms of their discography when it comes down to this one. Again, it's only 18 minutes, and really there isn't much on here that I would say is filler. All of it feels urgent, and just intense as hell. In fact, this does not sound like a band that has been around since 2002. This sounds like a fresh, young band with all their fuck you, you can't tell me what to do sort of ethos all still intact. Nothing has been broken down over years. The only thing that breaks down are the breakdowns and possibly your bones if you're in the pit. Honestly, I've reviewed grindcore albums that are longer than this album, but at the same time, this still feels like a full-length album. Like, it has 10 tracks, they're broken up well, and there's a fair amount of variety, or at least in terms of variety, in terms of what Terror does, which they really haven't strayed from the formula. Like, if you pick up a Terror album, you know exactly what you're gonna get, and if it doesn't sound like Terror, I would just check the packaging and make sure you didn't pick up a different fucking band, because Terror is fucking consistent. Rarely would I say anything is ever new with Terror, but there's something about this that feels revitalized and just focused on being heavier than hell. In terms of any negatives I would say about this album, maybe you could say that it is a little formulaic. Again, if you know Terror, you know exactly what this sounds like. But I think there's the intention, the outright heaviness of it with the production and just the songs themselves. It makes it sort of stand out and sound a little bit fresh. I've been listening to Terror for years, and honestly, a lot of their albums are kind of interchangeable, but they're all good. Like, they remain consistent. And this one, it just jumps out a little bit more because, again, the production's heavier. It just feels fucking meaner than it has in years. While I think there are individual tracks that stand out in here, I think it's the album that stands out as a whole more than individual tracks. The tracks are short. They fucking punch you in the face. They don't even give you time to pick up your fucking teeth before they're fucking kicking the shit out of you again. But honestly, I think that's what you want in a hardcore, and that just feels like it is literally honed to absolute violent perfection on here. I was really looking forward to going over this one because I've been a longtime fan, and I think their last couple albums have been really good, but this just jumps out more. This is just fucking more violent than they have been in a while, and man, that really fucking resonated with me. So overall, I'm gonna give this 4 stars. This might be the shortest full length I've gone over, but holy shit, there is no bullshit on here. This is all direct, straight to the face, much like punches or kicks or bricks. Whatever they are hitting you with, they are hitting you hard as fuck. Do not go into this looking for nuance and melody and any sort of subtlety in anything ever. This is Terror. They're here to beat the shit out of you, but you're gonna like it if you love hardcore. So to the longtime Terror fans, if you have not got this yet, go fucking get this. It's absolutely awesome. And to any prospective Terror fans, fuck it, start here. This is one of their heaviest albums, and if you are a fan of thrash or grind or just anything sort of punk and hardcore related, fucking get this. It's gonna whoop your ass, and I think you'll love how just fucking direct and fucking aggressive it is. Fuck melody, this is about aggression, and if you like that ethos, go get this shit. So if you enjoyed this review, give it a thumbs up, and if you are new to the channel, subscribe because we do stuff like this all the time. We're also on Patreon. If you'd like to help us out there, there'll be a link down below. We're gonna add some content to Patreon, probably after we get back from MDF, but we have some ideas and we think they'll be fun, and well, we'll let you know about them. Also, if you'd like to get one of our cool shirts, hit us up on thrallsmetal.com. There's also a link to that down below. And of course, thank you to everyone that's been watching, liking, subscribing, hell, even just commenting randomly. We appreciate the shit out of that. We love fucking doing this stuff. We have plenty more in store for you. We look forward to recording a bunch of ridiculous metal-oriented shit, and we look forward to you watching it. So thank you all once again very much, and we will catch you later.